So, part 5 of this video series of eating unclean and unknowingly participating in covenant meals and the dangers of that. So if you haven't seen all the videos, go and start part 1 and watch through, because it's important that you do, especially if you're a believer in Messiah, Yahusha, Jesus. You should take his word seriously and not be spiritual blind, like we talked about in the previous video. And we mentioned this phrase, you are what you eat. And it's got a picture, some old-timey picture here, right? Because it's a pretty old saying. And I asked myself, where could it be from and why? Like, where did it originate from? And it was an interesting connection of where it came from. You might think, well, this, right? When you hear that phrase, you are what you eat. So if I eat a bunch of junk food, I'll get fat like this guy right here. Or if I eat a whole bunch of healthy stuff from the earth and some greens and stuff, I'll be healthy and skinny and look good like this. But this stuff is true in the physical realm. But in the spiritual realm, what does it mean? What are you aligning with? What spirits are you putting in your body and aligning with when you eat certain things? So like I said, the phrase was originally coined back in Germany by a German philosopher back in the mid-1800s and 1866 by this man Feuerbach. And he wrote a book called The Mystery of Sacrifice, or Man is What He Eats. So it was very interesting to me that this is the origination of this phrase was in relation to sacrifice and covenant meals. Because he says here that he reflects on the topic of religious sacrifice and on the fact that man often sacrifices to the gods food which he himself eats. Performing a sacrifice to the gods thus means feeding the gods. Moreover, the food one chooses to sacrifice to the gods varies depending on the nature and features of that deity for whom the sacrifice is being performed. So the animals that are being sacrificed to these deities are, especially the false ones, they were the unclean animals. The ones that were banned from being eaten in the Bible were the ones that these unclean deities and evil spirits wanted to be sacrificed with. And so we're going to look at more examples on that, and we're going to read more of this here in the next video.